In this video, you're gonna learn how I manage my time with 10 time management tips that actually work. I'm a neuropsychologist, and these tips are tried and true and pull on some of the best sources and science on time management. And not only are these time management strategies evidence-based, they're practical and actionable so you can start implementing them today. Unlike a lot of other time managed videos that are full of fluff and outdated info, this video is full of realistic tips for busy people, so get those screenshot fingers ready. What are the secrets to managing your time so well that your free time is actually overflowing? What do the productive girlies know that you don't? The most efficient people follow these 3 steps. And in this video, which I promise you, even though it's a big claim, will be the best video on YouTube about time management, it's gonna walk you through them all so that managing your time is just like a walk on the beach. Getting control of your time and your schedule is so easy if you start the right way. Michael Altshuler said, "The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot." So if I look back at the times in my life where I felt extremely overwhelmed and burned out, I can say with confidence I was living in chaotic busyness in each one of those times. I can actually remember a time in grad school where I felt stressed out, or as Beyonce would say in 16 Carriages, overworked and underpaid, and really on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And this was because I was busy working at a job and also going to school, and I was really just living life to survive and not really thriving. This is because I was just going through the motions of what I was supposed to do to pay all my bills, to be a good student, to be a good girlfriend, and all the other things. But I had lost touch with my purpose, my value, my vision for life. This is why the first crucial step of gaining control of your time is to prioritize your vision for your life. And I like to think of this as deciding on your dream destination, if you think about that as a metaphor. And practically, I like to do this by using reverse goal setting. So you can think of reverse goal setting as deciding on those larger than life goals, or that destination that you have for yourself, and then prioritizing your time and efforts to get you there. And be sure when you're defining your dream life, this destination, you're thinking about your values, you're thinking about your higher self, you're thinking about all the domains within your life, like personal, giving, professional, all those different categories that you have for yourself in your life. And if you want help with this, in my Mod Ambition Planner, I have a 2-in-1 goal planner and 90-day planner. And the goal planner, it really walks you through this using evidence-based psychology to help you decide on your goals, but also define that vision of yourself based on your values and what's most important to you in your life. But if you're thinking, I just don't have enough time to work towards this vision that I have for myself, keep watching. First of all, you're not alone. I want to read to you a survey from one poll that said 60% of people say there's not enough time in the day to get all their work, chores, and errands done. The average American says they could use 4 more hours each day. 4 more hours. That means people are really feeling like they're lacking time. So if you feel this way, you're certainly not alone. There's nothing worse with knowing where you want to go but having no clue on how you're actually going to get there. We can all have these big goals and these big dreams, but if we feel like we don't have the time or the strategies to get there, it can make us feel hopeless and really, really frustrated. So how do we fit in everything we want to do to get closer to our dreams while also taking care of all our other life responsibilities? Don't give up hope. There is a way to get more time in your day. The next step is to systematize. So on your journey to get to your dream destination, you can think of this system as the car that's going to get you there. Okay, so the first part of this system is to make a routine out of planning, specifically planning using the strategies of the book, The 12-Week Year. I like to do this in my Mod Ambition Planner because it has the 90-day, quarterly, 12-week planners, and it has quarterly planning, monthly planning, weekly planning, and daily planning pages to help you really break this down to use reverse goal setting. But you can do this really in any planner that you like, and you want to be sure that you're prioritizing planning for that 12-week year and then actually planning out those specific tactics that are going to get you to that larger destination. You don't want to do this just once at the beginning of the quarter. You want to make sure that you are planning on a routine basis to make this actually a system that's going to help you save more time, because each one of your days, each one of your weeks, each one of your months is actually going to be planned out, leading you to get to where you want to go, that dream destination, that larger vision. And in the process, you're going to be prioritizing and you're going to be streamlining, which is going to save you a ton of of time. So the next part in systemizing is to capture. You want to get things out of your head so they're not taking valuable energy from yourself, but also so you can organize them to be more time efficient. I'm going to give you a crash course on integrating the two books, Getting Things Done and Building a Second Brain. These two books can really help you be more time efficient and more productive. Let's start with capture. So that's the process of getting things out of your head and really centralizing your information. So there's two ways you can do this. You're going to do this digitally and you're going to do this in real life. So digitally, ways to capture information that you may be thinking about or things you want to do or have to do. You're going to put things like your email inbox might be one of your inboxes. You might throw things into your notes app as an inbox. And for me, I like to use my Notion as a digital inbox to capture information that I need to either put into a project list or that I have, or a task list, or put into my planner. I do have a system on using Getting Things Done and Building a Second Brain in a template that I'm building. It's the one I'm currently using. I'm just making sure that all the kinks are out before I offer it to you guys. So be sure you subscribe if you want to be the first to know on that template of utilizing this whole system really that I'm going to teach you in a Notion template. So once you have captured information, the next step, process that information. You want to take it through a flow in order to make sure that you are taking the right actions with the information that you've captured, making sure that if it is actionable, it's making it to the right place. And if it's not, it's also making it to the right place. So you're going to process the information that you've captured. This is going to help you save time and actually also stay aligned with your goals so you can prioritize and in the end be more time efficient. Let me share with you guys the process method that is used in Building a Second Brain and also Getting Things Done. The first step you're going to ask is this piece of information that I've captured actionable? Do I need to do something with this? Do I need to take action with it? So let's first go down the route. If it's not actionable, you then want to ask yourself, is it relevant? If it's not relevant, then you're going to archive it. In the Notion system that I have a whole archive section, have some system where you store archived information. So if it is relevant, then you're going to maybe move it to two different places. Either it's going to be a resource or you're going to move it to areas of improvement in your life. So in this system, you're going to have a folder or some place that you put your resources, things you want to keep for later. Before you add things to those resources, you want to distill it first, process that information. And if it is something that you're going to be utilizing that's not really like a reference material, something maybe you're using your day-to-day, you're going to add it to whatever area of your life you want to add it to. So for my areas of improvement, I have a personal, I have a routines folder, I have a YouTube folder. These are sort of ongoing things that aren't necessarily projects like that are going to have an end date, but are just like recurring areas of your life, like maybe a work folder, those kinds of things, family folder. If it is actionable, you're going to ask yourself, is it one step? So if it's not one step, then it's actually a project. It's multiple steps that go back to back to end a actual project. And you're going to put, the project end date, and you're going to add all the steps to that project wherever you keep your projects. Again, I keep my running projects digitally. You could also keep your projects list in a physical binder. And then if it is just one step, you're going to add it to your task list, which you can think of as more like your to-do list, something that just needs to get done in one step. Now, if you can do it in 2 minutes, the suggestion is you just do it right then and there. And if not, you just put it on your to-do list, and we'll talk about what we're going to do with all this in just a second. Okay, so that second is here. Now that you have captured information, you've processed it where it wants to go, the next step in systemizing is to review. So you want to make sure that you have some sort of routine in place. I like to do this on Fridays, where you review your whole system and make sure that you're moving things accordingly, putting things on the agenda or the calendar that need to get done, and making sure that it's just a well-oiled machine. And I want to go through with you guys what I do on my Friday planning routine, that I do also this review process as well. So first, I clarify my inboxes. I take a look at things I put in my inboxes throughout the week, and I put them where they go. So if it's my mail inbox physically, I read my mail, decide where that needs to go. If it's like my email inbox of leftover and things in my inbox I haven't attended to, I'll maybe add it to my to-do list, or wherever it needs to go. I clarify my inboxes. I do the same with like my Notes app or my Notion, which is what I actually use. Then I take a look at my running projects list, and I look at the first or the next step in each one of my projects that I have going on in my life, whether that's renovating our backyard or projects that I have for product development. I look at that next step and see if it needs to be scheduled into that week that I have coming up. First, before I think about putting it on my weekly to-do, I add it to my task list so I can have just a general list of to-dos of next steps in all my projects, and then also that to-do list that I have, that task list. Then you're going to review that task list that has all the next steps of your next projects coming up and any other one-off tasks that you have added to the list, and you're going to decide, is it a priority for the week that you're moving into? And if it is, that's where I add it to my physical planner. That's where I add it to my weekly to-do list if it's something I want to get done that week. Otherwise, I leave it on that task list to maybe get scheduled for a following week when it comes to like my day-to-day and my week planning. So again, you're going to review that task list, which has all of your next steps and projects and any to-dos that you have just running. I like to keep that digitally because you are going to keep it flowing and things change. And then when it comes to weekly planning, that's when I move into my paper planner and add those things there. And I also review my monthly plan at that time and add anything on my monthly plan and my 12-week year plan, because I do use the strategies of the 12-week year when I'm planning. So I add things like my lead goals, which are kind of like SMART goals that I have for the month. Anything that I need to do for my monthly planning that pertains to that week, I'll add it to my weekly planner as well. And then I kind of look at what the book calls, the book Getting Things Done calls your trigger list, where you kind of look at lists that are just recurring, like meal planning, meal prepping. For me, my YouTube is kind of like a running cycle. So I look at those things and see if there's anything from those that I need to add to my weekly list that aren't already a part of like my weekly routines. Then once I have a running list of my to-dos for that week in my planner, I put in all my meetings and things like my Pilates classes, things that actually have a time that can't be moved into the weekly planning pages. And then I move various tasks from that to-do list within my weekly planner where they fit around those meetings and the things that I have to do for that week. And then once I have planned the week from a weekly bird's eye view, I then go into my daily planning pages in my planner and I time block out my days based on my goals that I have for each day of things I want to get done. I actually try to make that more realistic in time blocking, and I go in and time block out all of my days. Let's move on. Unpopular opinion, it's not that you don't have enough time, it's actually that you're just not using your time efficiently. Being busy and always strapped for time is really stressful because you always have this looming pressure that you're not doing enough or that all your efforts are in vain. How many times have you felt overworked, overwhelmed, and burned out, but not really any closer to your goals? Enter productivity. So these tips are actually going to help you make the most of your time using the system that you just created. So in our metaphor, this is actually driving the car efficiently. And be sure you're not putting the cart before the horse, or in our metaphor here, putting the car in front of or driving in front of the car and the destination. You get what I'm trying to say, because if you're just trying to use productivity hacks, but you haven't figured out your vision and a system to utilize these hacks, then you're just going to be busy for no reason. So when it comes to driving that car efficiently, or just being efficient with your time, being productive with your time, you first want to increase your time awareness. And there's a few different ways you're going to do this. So the first one is time boundaries. So once you time block out your day or decide what you want to do for that day, you want to have boundaries around that time, boundaries with other people in your life and boundaries with yourself to really keep the promises you set for yourself. The next thing is really going to be important if you're neurodivergent. So all my neurodivergent queens listed up, you want to have time awareness. That means being just aware of the time. A lot of times we could just lose track of time because, especially if you're neurodivergent, your brain is not wired to be aware of time in the actual way that time is ticking. So making sure you wear your watches, making sure you have clocks up on the wall, making sure you set timers, things like that, so that you're just aware of time. so that you're using your time efficiently. And then being able to estimate your time accurately is also going to help you manage your time better. So doing things like a time audit is going to be very helpful in order to get a good estimation of how long things actually take, especially those tasks that you do a lot. Like for me, I write reports a lot, so knowing how much time each part of my process as a neuropsychologist takes helps me manage my time better. Knowing how long it takes me to generally write a script helps me manage my time better. So being able to do a time audit and being able to estimate your time is going to help you manage time well as well. So some tools, I already mentioned some of these. Some tools are things like timers, using the Pomodoro method with timers, where you set a large chunk of time, timer to work a large chunk of time, and then giving yourself a small break. Generally, I like to do 50 minutes and 10 minutes, but you can really do whatever feels good to you. Using batch days and blocking, so I like to do all certain tasks on one day, like all my filming on one day, all my scripting on one day, writing reports, seeing the clients. I have different days for different tasks. And then, like I mentioned before, time blocking, so you can really get a good estimate of how your day is going to work out. And be sure to add buffers, because especially again if you're neurodivergent, but just for everybody really, things take longer than we expect them to take, so put buffers in your time blocking as well. Another good productivity hack that I have been loving for years is from the tenets of the book Eat That Frog, which is essentially getting those really hard to do tasks, those tasks that take a lot of brain power, a lot of effort, earlier in your day. That way that you get them done and over with, and you're more actually likely to get them done and be productive, rather than putting those in your schedule at the end of the day. Next up is what I call rinse and repeat, meaning you don't have to reinvent the wheel. When it comes to time management, be sure you're using things like templates. I have templates for my reports. I have email signatures with a lot of templates of common things I reply to people. You can use email signatures to do that. And then routines and habits, just putting things into systems that you do every day, so you don't have to reinvent things. You have a routine and habits that work for you. Just repeat them, and that's going to also help you save so much time. Next is accountability. Now this is a time management strategy because it helps you actually stop the procrastination, focus, get done what you say you're going to get done. So if you can join some type of accountability group or tell a friend, even if you're being accountable to yourself, like writing it down what you want to do and doing things like habit tracking, that's going to really help you be more efficient with your time as well. And also always taking time to reset and refresh. On my channel, I always post my monthly resets. I do quarterly resets, yearly resets, because life happens. Sometimes we get off track, but taking time to refresh yourself, reacquaint yourself with your goals that you have for yourself, reacquaint yourself with your vision is going to help you be more time focused and manage your time better, because you're going to get back on track and realign with what's most important to you, so that you're not distracted and wasting time. So there are a couple of things that are the key drivers in these time management strategies. One of them being implementing planning right using the 12-week year strategies. It's important that you're not just planning out your 12 weeks, but you're actually using the 12-week year strategies to implement your goal-getting journey, to implement those time management strategies, and to actually reach your goals faster and save yourself a lot of time in the end. Which is why I teed up a video I did on the 12-week year strategies that goes over it in detail, so you actually know how to implement the planning phase, which is one of the most important things in this process in time management, for you to watch next. I hope you found these tips as easy as a walk on the beach. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.